Hi, I'm Brad Smart, and the title of this Top Grading Tips article is How HR Managers Can Rise to CEO. An interview with Larry Washaw. Meet the HR manager who became a successful CEO. Larry Washaw was COO from 1998 to 2000, and then CEO and president from 2000 to 2010 of a company called Amcol, AMCOL. $1.5 billion market cap global company in minerals, oil field services, environmental services, and transportation. What's unusual is that Larry was an HR manager from 1977 until 1985, and then a general manager up to CEO from 1985 until 2010 when he retired. The performance of Amcol when Larry was CEO was terrific, although he shows humility saying those were the growth years, the 1990s. How did he do it? How did he transition from human resources to general management and all the way up to CEO? I interviewed Larry, who offered keen insights and practical advice, so you can learn from him. And now I'll be the voice of Larry Washaw. I graduated high school in 1971 and attended Miami of Ohio, graduating in 1974 with a degree in communications. And I was hoping to become a famous sports announcer. In college, I was the local broadcaster for football games, but researched job prospects and concluded that only a handful of would-be announcers ever succeed. So I decided against pursuing that dream. Here's a lesson. Learn public speaking. I've used my public speaking skills in every job to convey a vision and to motivate people. Managers with very good public speaking skills are more promotable. Here's another lesson. During your school years, study what businesses are creating the most jobs and learn what those jobs are. And frankly, it's pretty easy these days with Google. With that information, you can be more realistic about career opportunities. Evenings, weekends, and summers, I worked for a tiny 12-person chrome plating company, so small that every employee had to chip in and be flexible, doing what had to be done. I loved the experience of learning and being able to contribute to the company, even though I was young and working part-time. Here's a lesson. Hey, don't just go for big companies. Consider joining a smaller company to be able to learn, grow, and make changes that might not be possible in large companies that have formalized programs that teach college graduates their way. But I would also say this, it only makes sense if you're a ball of fire, if you're super flexible and willing to work any hours in a crisis, and if you'll have ideas the owner will actually implement. Here's another lesson, one I didn't follow. Always have a career plan. I didn't until much later in my career. Expect the plan to change over the years, but in retrospect, I might have been better trained for general management had I worked for a large company that did rotate college hires through various departments and jobs to see if a person is best suited for any particular function, HR or sales or whatever, or if the person is or has the potential for general management. However, the advantage of working in smaller companies is real too. More opportunities to participate in significant decisions and learn from a broad range of experiences. So I guess here's the point I'm making. Earlier in your career, it doesn't make a lot of difference if you join a big or small company. But here is what is extremely important for career growth, particularly if you might want to rise to CEO. Put points on the scoreboard. Work really hard and accomplish a whole lot so that you'll be promotable and your references will be outstanding. From 1977 until 1978, I worked for a 100-person screw and nut company. That's true, screw and nut, the nuts that screw up, okay, using my minor in psychology to get a job in HR. I worked for Jim Gray, a major influence in my career. He was constantly showing me how to connect even the most basic HR work to overall company strategy. And he emphasized hiring practices. Be the best at hiring. So that's the next lesson. Master hiring best practices, perhaps the most important HR skill. And of course, Topgrading has the most proven hiring success. Thanks for the plug, Larry. Now back to Larry. Here's another lesson I learned. Constantly connect HR strategy to overall business strategy. Do not stay in your office looking at your computer all day. Whatever your role, spend time learning about the whole business. Be curious, ask questions, and develop an understanding about what really impacts the total business. Jim Gray was also consulting at the company that recruited me, right? Amcol. So he introduced me to the management team, and I thought it would be a good move to Amcol because I had a lot of resourcefulness and energy, and without Jim running interference for me, I was becoming stifled. For example, I offered to create training programs I felt were sorely needed for productivity and safety reasons, but was told no because new hires can just learn while on the job. Oh, really? And have accidents that might have been preventable? My boss at Amcol, the head of industrial relations, was terminated. And initially, I didn't think of applying for the position. After all, I didn't have any real background in industrial relations. But another important career mentor, perhaps the most important in my career, was John Hughes. And he said, so what if you don't have all the credentials? Write down all your strengths. Write down what you need to learn. Write down how you'll go about learning it and why you can do an outstanding job and present it to management. See what happens. Well, I did what he suggested and got the job. Regrettably, and I feel a little foolish about this, I still did not have a career plan. And several people had suggested, get an MBA. So I attended Northwestern University's MBA program nights, completing the degree in 1981. And I'm happy I did because it deepened my knowledge about a lot of different aspects of business. So I guess another lesson is do what I didn't do. Prepare for promotions well in advance. I should have studied more about industrial relations well in advance of that job becoming open. And even if you aren't fully prepared, consider applying for promotions and say how you will get up to speed and do a great job. And another lesson, not for everybody, but it was useful for me, is to get an MBA. But do it from a respected school that provides opportunities to learn, not just from profs and books, but from students, from people you might network with, network for life with. And of course, the better the school, the better it looks on your resume. So the oil boom collapsed in the early 1980s, and unfortunately, I had the responsibility of releasing 300 out of the company's 600 employees. It was a horrible experience, but I immersed myself personally. I tried to help those leaving get the best job they could, and the experience I'll never forget because it drove home every day that these are real people with real dreams and real expectations. And it makes the consequences of layoffs very real. And all the more important that we hire A players who try to impact the total business, to grow the business, and not have to experience painful layoffs. Another lesson is when you do lay people off, don't just send out releases. Meet with people individually, personally, one-on-one and in groups. Empathize. Really feel the pain of the people who are devastated. It'll be a constant reminder that HR is not just an office function, but a function that, if done very well, can support the strategy of the company and minimize pain when there are downturns. I know I'm repeating myself, but I'll say it one more time. Learn the whole business. I'll elaborate. Ride with salespeople. Ask financial managers to explain complex numbers. Talk with marketing about future products. Maybe writing with a salesperson, you might decide, hey, sales is the job I want. Or if it was just a broadening experience, you might hear how sales reps are marveling at how competitors are coming up with better and better innovations than we are, and maybe make you a little more inclined to encourage the company to become more innovative. You might sense that salespeople are emphasizing, or they're incentivized through their pay system, total revenue. and you see them go after total revenue, when the company might be in trouble with respect to profits, and a finance manager is saying that unless we make more profits, unless we have higher margins, unless we do something, the future of the company is in jeopardy. HR needs to know this stuff. And to the extent you become a leader, share your insights with other functions. They'll be surprised and encouraged that you care, that you learn, that you can reach out to help the whole company succeed, and maybe that you're a leader too. Every HR professional or manager should think like a CEO, understand the whole business, never stop learning, convert your growing body of knowledge to make our driver of total business strategy, and make you more effective in HR. And if you are eventually interested in general management, it'll certainly make you more promotable. In 1986, a new division was being created that was completely different than our primary business. I did not have any experience in building a new company from scratch, but my mentor, John Hughes, encouraged me to take on that role. I would not have applied for a general management role because of so much I didn't know. Does this pattern sound familiar to you? I didn't really know as much as I really should have, even then, about finance and marketing and operations, despite the MBA. Anyway, he provided support, tolerated some of the pain as I learned, and of course, I did get the job. And it was creating a company called Chemdall. Started with 0 sales, grew to $250 million in sales. And then later I was promoted to COO of Amcol and finally CEO. Since retiring, I've served on several boards of directors. And I have a few more lessons I'd like to pass on. One, in retrospect, I could have done a lot more to prepare for all of my promotions, and particularly a promotion to general management. If you're interested in becoming a CEO, please consider my advice to do a lot of things I would not have done had I not had such wonderful mentors. That leads to another lesson. Seek out mentors. If you have opportunities to join a company or take maybe one of 3 promotions or something, seriously consider which boss would be a wonderful mentor. Mentors are likely to be A players who believe in you, will support you. I was just lucky having 2 wonderful mentors. Another lesson is don't necessarily do what I did, and that is stay with one company for so long, but don't be a perennial job hopper. Maybe switch employers every 6 or 8 years to broaden your horizons, see everything with fresh eyes. Okay? Since having human resources report to me during the last 14 years of my career, I learned some more lessons. One is don't be a flavor of the month function. Don't try to show you're important by experimenting with this initiative or that to see if something sticks. Next lesson, lead change. Most HR managers are not leaders. Settle on initiatives that will drive company strategy, then go out and sell managers at all levels on following through. Become a leader. A couple more lessons. One is, hey, don't fear being held accountable. Quality of hire is one of the most important measures, but I'm guessing only 5% of HR managers have ever offered to seriously, honestly measure quality of hire or be held accountable for hiring high performers. Break the mold. Final lesson is this. Don't associate with just HR managers and only attend HR conferences. If you can, go to industry meetings, conferences for CEOs and general managers. Go see a speech at a local university by a strategy guru, even if you have no interest in general management. Why? I guess I'm repeating myself again. HR tends to be too inbred, with very, very little true innovation that really drives overall business strategy. Broaden yourself. It'll make you more apt to be an effective leader. In conclusion, I'd say, sorry, this little treatise got longer than I expected, but I truly believe that HR should be a great resource of strong general managers. However, you really need to understand the whole business, be an active participant and contributor across the entire company. And finally, I hope that my sharing my experiences may help you to enjoy a little more successful and fulfilling career. Now I'm going to switch back to the Brad Smart voice. Hi, this is Brad, and I'll conclude too by saying, Till next time, top grade your team and you will top grade your profits.